though.
The 3,000, 6,000, you've got now what? 2 to 3 guys that have got that in and around the 10 big blind situation, so they're going to need to do something this level.
15,000 total.
It's, well, I guess it is just about the biggest hand
Pass.
Sammy has picked up pre-flop tonight. And he stuck a nice raise in.
Pass.
Yeah, he limped re-raise early with ace-king, and now he's got the jacks.
Pass.
Oh, who's this? Who's this? Alan Vinicum on a pair of sevens. Pair of sevens is not a particularly good poker hand. It looks nice because they're 2 of them. All sevens, but loads of stuff can beat that.
Alan's had a couple tough decisions tonight. Abby gave him one, now George is giving him another. He could just peel a flop off for 9. He could read.
This used to be on the telly late at night in the UK, like midway between the internet kicking off big style and everyone getting Sky TV, midway between that. This used to be on the telly late at night, and so you're not really big time if you're on this, but you are sort of more big time than not being on the telly at all. Like, so Alan's on this. This is his little moment. This is Alan, professional poker players on the telly sort of thing. So Alan's like big moment.
Raise. He could fold.
I'm all in.
Raised all in.
Ooh.
It's
Now, we know his opponent's got a pair of jacks, so we know that at this point, Alan is basically throwing his money into a hole. Very unlikely to win. He has to hit something off the turn, and it has to be really a 7, or maybe the suits could come into play, but really it has to be a 7.
it's understandable, but he's in trouble.
I can't see George laying this down.
So imagine you're looking for a 7 in a deck, and you've got 2 of them already, and people have all had their cards. So there's a chance someone's had that 7 in their hands and thrown it in. Not happy with it. There's a chance it's in the deck of cards and you could turn it over. You've got 2 of them, so you're looking for 2 in 52, but theoretically it's not 52 because you've dealt out all these cards. So, like, what's the likelihood of us turning over a 7 versus the other hand beats it already because it's a pair of jacks? And what's the likelihood of us turning over a jack? Similar probabilities. More likely people to held their hands if they've got a jack because it's a better card than a 7. So, I don't know. I just think it's a pretty strange move to go all in on a pair of 7s, but
I just cannot, the way he's been playing.
What is that?
And with his chip stack as well, he's only got to call another 50.
so the other guy's got loads of chips. So Alan is throwing his chips in as all in. The other guy doesn't have to risk everything in order to cover this bet. He can go matching Alan's bet and still be in the game. He's got loads of chips. So that's a mistake as well. If you're going to go all in and call your opponent, you know, do you want to go all in on this? It should be for them an equally dangerous measure to risk this big amount. If it's not, if they don't have to risk it, they can take you out of the game without risking themselves being taken out of the game. That's an even more of an incentive for them to call you.
He started this hand with 123, so
50,000 more.
it all lends itself to a call.
And then 50 is quite a nice amount of money to be winning off somebody, isn't it, during this game of poker? So this is an opportunity for his opponent that he's handed to him.
Ding.
Look, check this out now. We can't really see Alan, but this is this is what the parry and thrust of the poker game involves now. Asking people to their faces about their hands and seeing if they're lying and all this business. Bluffing.
Ace king.
Ace king, he says. And Alan does a little laugh, and this guy thinks you haven't got ace king. Bollocks, have you? You can see it in his smile.
Don't tell him. I've got a hand, obviously.
I've got a hand, obviously, says Alan. So he's not bluffing then, because he's telling you he's not bluffing. I've got a good hand. You've got 2 7s. Like, I've got a hand, obviously. Ham hands, well spotted.
Don't tell him. I've got a hand, obviously. I know you got a hand, but it's just I hate these cards, and
Jacks are.
I just hate them. Anywhere I go, I hate these 2 cards I've got. Maybe it'll work for me here.
Everywhere I go, I hate these cards. So he's not telling Alan that it's about Alan and what Alan's doing. He's telling him it's about me and whether I've got good cards, my decision. But actually, he is trying to read Alan. You know, he's trying to decide if Alan's gone in on a bluff. Alan's told. Now he's going through in his head what Alan just said. I've got a good hand, obviously, and he's thinking, obviously, yeah, have you really?
Well, someone's got to make a move. All right, cool.
Cool.
And he's called it. And Alan, you see Alan's double take at this moment. But Alan looks away because he doesn't want to be looking at the man while he's like, if you're looking at him like that in anxiety while he's about to make his decision, that can affect it, can't it? So Alan thinks, don't keep looking at him. Like Alan is looking, like you're right in chat, Alan was looking at him all the time. Alan's doing a lot of blinking as well, which shows his cognitive processing, which if you're secure in your hand and you're like, right, that's good, put that down, yeah. Just waiting. Not a lot of cognitive processing, but loads of cognitive processing. Is he believing me? Am I being believed? Am I getting away with this? Lots of eye blinking from Alan. Staring at the man, blinking his eyes. So that was a mistake from Alan because he's really giving it away there.
Well, someone's got to make a move.
And then when he says someone's got to make a move, he's back to him.
All right, cool.
Cool.
And like Alan does this double take, he looks away and back, like frustrated now, angry Alan comes
He's
out.
going to be.
You even see a flare. Like he's almost staring at him at that moment, a flare in the nostrils. Like angry Alan is out now because he didn't want to get called. He thought he could bully this guy off a bit of money.
He's going to be very happy, obviously.
Flip him over.
The under pair.
These gentlemen.
Well, Tim Flanders already passed the A7, Jesse. He's
And the way he throws them down like that in defeat, like, oh, well, you know, it's these bad cards. It's not my fault. Threw them down in defeat. You decided to go all in on that.
got one out. He's in bad shape with the 7s.
I mean, you can see Alan's thought process there. You know, Sammy's been very loose and just decided to draw a line in the sand. Didn't want to call, make the pot
His
so big.
range is
He tried to bully Sammy off a bit of money, but, you know, he made the wrong call. I don't know why they're giving him so much credit for it, but...
so wide
Yeah.
with Sammy George's range. With a nickname like NE2, he didn't have to have jacks.
But it is Vinny Combe all in, and
So, all in, Vin, he was supposed to say, not Vinny Combe all in. We haven't seen a 7, so you're immediately losing. You have to see a 7, otherwise you lose, is Alan's situation here.
it's just been kind of wrong way traffic for him. He's gotten on the bad end of the stick a couple
It's waiting.
times,
It's
and
building the outside up. Oh my god.
he's going to be done unless the one card in the deck comes, the case 7. Close, but back to Devon.
It's not close, it's just a different card. That annoys me when people say that. The 8 is close because it's 8, well, it's one step closer to a 7, isn't it? Yeah, but Alan's got the 7 of spades, so it's not the 7 of spades that nearly came out. It's not like any card nearly came out because an 8 came out. It was nearly a 7. It was a different card. You lost because you made a really bad decision there, Alan.
Alan.
I
I was hoping you weren't going to call, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
I was hoping you weren't going to call, obviously. Well, maybe obviously is one of your tell words then, because you bluffed that one out and the guy called you.
Close, but back to Devon
What's
for Alan.
I was hoping you weren't going to call, obviously.
Yeah, I know, but I had to.
Okay.
Just like that.
Okay, says Alan. Almost as if like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But he's not happy, is he? He's eggy.
Just like that. Wrong time, wrong place, wrong hand, unfortunately, for Alan Vinicum. But
You don't get much wiggle room in these one tables.
I didn't get any hands, really. That's the problem. Didn't really...
Got a big ham hand now, haven't you? The problem for Alan was he didn't get any hands. He's took his glasses off for this bit for the telly. Look at his tan. This is young Alan, super Alan, poker Alan.
Room in these one tables.
But he's not that young, is he, in poker Alan phase? So I wonder what he did before this in his life, you know? He did the restaurant thing, didn't he? But I wonder before that. I'm interested.
Didn't get any hands, really. That's the problem. Didn't really get any good hands. But I don't think I made any glaring errors, which is
You didn't think you made any glaring errors to go all in on 2 7s?
always pleasing. You know, if you go out on a big error, there's a problem. But maybe I could have folded the 7s.
Maybe I could have folded the 7s, yeah, do you think? It's got a bit caught up in it all, didn't you, Alan? 3 7s in the mix. Should I... In poker is a pair of 7s a good hand? Poker hands from worst to best, look. Ooh, worst to best. So a pair is right down at the bottom. 1 pair. Like, it's 1 up from high card. So if you know a little thing about poker, yeah, you're not looking for a pair. He ended up with 2 pairs. I don't know why Obbs is messing me about now. Fucking having it, isn't it? It got updated recently. It got updated recently. I don't know. Anyway, look, we're back. So what I was saying was Alan's 2 sevens could have turned into 2 pair. Could have turned into 3 of a kind. It could have turned into 4 of a kind, very unlikely. But notice that there's 2 other hands above it that are better. And it's more likely 3 of a kind. You were looking for 1 7, weren't you, to come out of the deck? Well, if someone had got a straight or a flush or a full house or a straight flush or a raw flush, that all beats it. So it's not the best hand in the world, these 2 pair. These pair that you've got in your hand, a pair of something. It's down there on the lower end of the scale. So putting everything on it was like a total bluff, wasn't it? That was a total bluff because he didn't really have anything. He had nothing. 2 pair. Like, no, he didn't have the 2 pair. He had 1 pair in his hand. So he sort of had nothing. So you don't have to be a poker expert to know that, do you?
Any good hands, but I don't think I make any glaring errors, which is always pleasing. You know, if you go out on a big error, there's a problem. But
Don't you get a bit of a feel of the I'm firsts here? Do you get a bit of a feel of the I'm firsts about this footage? Fuck this, man.
From Devon became a pro in.
You can't just say it's luck. You've got to try and control it somehow. So I'm getting better.
This man from Devon became a pro in 2007. Now, Alan Vinicombe wants a big tournament to his name. Could this
So he became pro, but he wants a big tournament win. He hasn't had one.
be it?
there's nothing better than winning a hand for me. You know, it's a big thing for me to play poker, and it's a high for me, to be honest.
What a creepy weirdo. It's a high for me. Don't you get a bit of the I'm firsts about it all? What's going on? Do you two need a room? What's going on? I've kept you up again. Yeah, it's now 2 in the morning, so, we're going to have to bin this off in a minute. The internet conversation television show will have to end. I can get me and Colette a room. I can go on the internet and just book one and then just go there. With all your Tippy's money. I can shower Colette in Tippy's money. How about that? Get her some popcorn. I was thinking popcorn because you can throw it up like that. Shower it. It's probably not good to have all the popcorn in the bed. I could throw the popcorn up like that though and shower in the popcorn. Make it rain. Make it rain popcorn though, so a fairly inexpensive commodity to make it rain. Make it rain Tippy's money is harder because it's all in PayPal, so I could hit you with the laptop, but that's not what you really... throw the laptop at you, but no one really wants that. Netflix with Tiger King on. Yeah, Tiger King on Netflix. Popcorn everywhere. Dressed up in my lederhosen. My sexy lederhosen. Look at Alan Vinicombe.
To be honest,
Poker's a high for him. So he admits it there. He's got a gambling addiction. Poker's like a high for him. Bit weird, isn't it? We could watch the whole show of him playing poker all the way through because he basically just gives up all his hands and then loses. But there's no point in watching it all because it's tiresome and boring, isn't it? But like, no wonder this didn't stay on the telly as main big fair. It was around for a bit, wasn't it? Poker was like the hip thing for a bit on the late night telly, but nah. There's no win Vin. Go on, you want to watch him play poker for a bit? I mean, I'm ready to go to bed.
1,000 per player.
This is bedtime telly.
I do normally play top, don't I?
It's all those Red Bulls.
Because it's not all about him.
To you
Like,
this
he's there.
season, Does it feel like it's going to be
But this is maybe I should do it quieter and talk quieter now, like I did my
Jesse, I think you're going to find that a lot of these players new to TV poker,
new to TV poker listen.
got to feel their way through, and
They've got to feel their way through.
Raise to 6,000 total.
try.
So I don't think Alan is like big on the scene here. I think he's new to TV poker, and I think a lot of this is TV poker is new, and a lot of this is flash and bollocks. You know, the watches, the T-shirts, the flashy. You know, all this flashy bollocks is all designed to make you look rich and flashy, isn't it? So that your opponent feels intimidated. Like, fake chip stack.
Because he feels like he's been
Like, it's irrelevant how rich you are, it's just how many chips you've got on the table.
Ace 10 could easily be within that range of being in good shape.
But if you don't get the cards, look, this guy's got king ace, so you go in, don't you? This guy's got 10 ace, so you probably don't, not on this, ace, oh, 7, 8, jack, so 9, 10, jack, yeah, maybe you're hanging around here for a
We'll find
9.
out a lot from
But
Sammy George's game here.
It's a real simple concept, isn't it? Now what you've got to do in your head mathematically, and I don't know if Alan's doing this or if he's just about pushing people around, but in your head, because he's got the dyslexia for numbers, so I don't know how he does this, but in your head mathematically what you're saying is, on the table there's an 8, 7, a jack, I've got a 10 ace, so I need a 9. Now there's 2 more cards to come out, so what's the probability there being a 9? Again, how many people are going to hold on to a 9? Not so many. If you're looking for a king or an ace or something, it's possible someone else is holding it, because you would hold those cards and go in on the hand like George has with his king ace. So am I going to get a king or an ace come out? Not so sure. If there's 3 people in the hand and they're all holding their cards, then maybe that's because there's a couple of kings and aces out there. There's less chance of it coming out. So you've got to work out probability essentially, and the probability is always 1 in 52 minus whatever we've seen, but work out what you think other people may or may not have had in their hands. Like, and then you've got to work out what the odds are the other person in their hand has got something similar or better than you, and that they're looking for, are they looking for the same card? Are they looking also for a 9, or are they looking for another? Maybe they've already got 3 jacks. Maybe they're holding a pair of jacks. What's the probability they're holding a pair of jacks? Like, you've got to do this juggling in your head about probabilities, and then once you've worked out which probability is the most likely, then you put your money on it. The more you are like Rain Man, the better off. Yeah, exactly. And especially as well, it's not even a joke about autism there. Autistic people are less emotional, aren't they, in some ways, like visibly, like, it's not, some people believe poker is about the bossing and the table, the pushing around of the doing the big all in, the gamble, the, you know, do you know if I've got good cards or not? Can you tell? And all that business. There's a layer to it like that, but if you're not operating at this statistical level first, you're not even playing the game properly. So once you've done all the statistical stuff, that informs your decision. You might look at your opponent, they might be sweating and chewing their nails, and you might think they haven't got the jacks. I'm quite likely going to win this one. You know, then it comes in. But until you've done all that statistical analysis, I don't think it's really that important. For other people, they think it's the whole game. But that's my opinion on it, is that if you don't understand the, you know, if you don't know, like Alan didn't know earlier that the 7s, I don't know if he knew or not, the 7s were a really bad hand to go in on. Like, statistically, not likely to win. Very likely someone else has got something better. So, I don't know, you know, but then sometimes you might have to just take a punt. And that's the other thing, it's gambling. So if Alan sits down at enough poker tables with enough money over enough time, eventually he'll win a few hands. And he might even, you know, win the whole table sometimes if he sits down enough times with it. Once you get a bigger amount of money in your hands on the table, you can push people around. Then you can say, right, you have to go all in if you want to see this one. Oh, can't you afford to go all in every time? No, well, you have to now because I've got loads of money. So then you can bully people around, and there's that aspect. That's later on in the game. But yeah, I don't perceive Alan as being naturally a gifted poker player, because the statistical analysis and the keeping a track of the numbers, like he says he's got dyslexia, so that aspect of it I think he might find hard, the keeping a track of these numbers and cards that are coming across the table even. The psychological aspect of bullying people around at a table, maybe he likes that. But he certainly got bullied here, didn't he? Look at him licking his lips. He's not in this hand. He gets to watch the big boys play.
He's already given Kaitan a lot of information by saying, I don't like playing these hands. It kind of screams out ace-king, doesn't it, or ace-queen?
It's kind of unlucky for him, isn't he? I mean, here he is. He's got the guy exactly where he wants him, and that the guy thinks he has nothing. But
see, this guy did a fold. So we're talking about George here, Sammy George, I think it is. He folded on king ace. That's a good hand to fold. Like, that's a good hand you've got in your hand. But what came out on the flop wasn't what you wanted to see. In fact, he's reasoned it out that with ace 7 jack on the table, all you need is a 9 or a 10, and you're away getting something better than me. Like, maybe you've got something better than me. Do I want to waste my money finding out and then run into, you know, like, the bravado goes in the bin. Statistically, is it likely that someone could have, like with these cards out on the table, a better hand than king ace and be doing me? And look, the other guy's got 10-8. We are waiting to see if a 9 comes out so I can fucking stonk it and win all the money. So, yeah, George has made a good fold there. That's what Alan wasn't able to do.
here he is. He's got the guy exactly where he wants him, and that the guy thinks he has nothing.
I think once Alan is in a hand, he's in a hand. You know, I don't see him backing down very easily.
But problem with ace high is it is nothing if there's no pair. on the
Nope.
flop.
And again, we're going to probably have to. I don't know if I should be saying all this on the internet because this is Alan's weaknesses in poker. I don't know if he can fix them if I were to ever play him, but I think I'll possibly beat him on some of these aspects.
Doesn't
I
it?
had ace king.
Like, I think I'd have the statistical analysis of probability ahead of Alan. Like just being able to see the cards and like in my brain be keeping a track of it. I think I'd have that over him, and then the psychology of it about predicting his behaviour. I think I'd have that over him. So the only aspect is you could get stiffed. Like I could get 2 3s or like a 3 and a 1. Well, you know, not a 1, but you know what I mean. Like you could just get total bad luck. But then I wouldn't mind if I lost. It'd just be like, so what? I lost. But if it was for money and he got to walk away with money, that would be bad because I don't want to give him loads of money. But just for pride, you know, playing a few poker games for pride, I could handle losing because he's the big professional poker player. But Alan would really lord it, wouldn't he? Be like, I won and fucking this and that. So it wouldn't be a fair playing field because he spent loads of time playing poker and I haven't. But
Call.
yeah,
Pass. Pass.
folded. Didn't even see what he had, so we don't know if he folded anything good or, you know, what his thoughts were. We get to watch other people play poker instead. And this is another problem with poker. If you're not lucky in a way, you have to give up a little bit of money to be in each hand, you know, so that you're gradually getting ground down. If you're not going to play any hands, you gradually lose. So you do need to come in and play a hand at some point. And so you have to hope that when you are strong and you get your lucky hand, others are not strong. And it is sometimes quite frustrating that you think, oh, here's my chance. I've got like a king ace, and then everyone else is in as well, and you're like, what? Like, you know, so there's that as well. There's it's when to push and it's when to ease off is the critical point. And it's not against one person here; it's against several people. So if it was just me and Alan, it's what you call heads-up poker, one-on-one, and it's a slightly different animal. But look, they've done the statistics here for you. 12% chance of winning, 70% chance of winning. So if you're Barrow, you're on for it. And if you're George or Kyton, you're not. And you need to be able to see that and know when to bet and when to not. You can't see what your opponent's got, but you know you've got a 12% chance of winning. So you know that you've only got, like, why are they both in this? If I only had a 12% chance of winning, I am not going to bet on that. It needs to be above 50.
Flopped.
So the other guy's basically bluffing, yeah?
And I mean, you
Because
have to figure if he was out flopped like that with a king with higher kicker, I mean, Addy would have raised on the flop, wouldn't he have?
Kaitan's got a 6 and a 4, and none of these cards have. He's got a pair of 4s. But there's a king on the table, and people quite often hold kings. The other guy's got a king 7, their hearts. You've got a pair of kings. I don't know what he's looking at here. It's just the fact that he's got a much, much better hand, isn't it? In terms of reality of what's between them. But how are you in on a 6 and a 4 here of spades? Maybe you're looking for one more spade. You haven't got it. There's no space on the board for another one. Like, I don't know what it is you're thinking might happen. But 6 and a 4, it's just a bluff.
Check call.
One of the problems with bluffing in poker is if people call you, then you lose, but also you have to reveal your cards and they know that you've been bluffing. So it's a tactic that is over-employed by a lot of poker players to their detriment.
Lascelles, I can't. Abby's gonna
One pair.
Yeah. I think Abby. I'm not exactly sure if Abby could have gotten Lascelles off that. It would have been risky.
If he knows Lascelles' game, then I think he'd have figured out that it was going to check call him pretty much whatever he was going to bet.
Yeah.
And like you said, Jesse, with 2 diamonds and a pretty draw-heavy.
It could be
board,
that what he's done there is
If you've got any,
there's a concept of making people pay to see the cards. He might have a good hand, but you're not going to see it unless you bet me some money. So how good a hand have you got? Are you prepared to put your money behind it? And you can sort of force them to pay to see the cards. You might lose the bet, but you force them to pay. So they're not just going to get an easy ride out of you. That's an option as well.
any bigger part of that.
Oh yeah, Alan's not the big player here, is he? He's not the big star in this table. He doesn't look the coolest, or like he didn't even win. Like,
You're going to be taken off on the flop. You're not going to
what
let
it's
all the other
gonna
players
work.
behind you try and get in. So
you know how Alan's a bit of a dilettante. He turns up at something and now he's an expert after 2 weeks. Like, I imagine poker's a bit like that with him. Like, if you've got a bit of money, you can go on the poker tour. That's the bottom line. It's not about whether you're particularly good at poker. They need people to win money off as well. Like, if you've got a bit of money, you can get on the tour. And then after a bit of time, learning the game, a bit of luck here and there, you might get some things here and there going your way. But, if you've got enough money, I think you're allowed to go and play the game and give them your money.
I thought the Cell Barrow played it very well.
He's pretty much got maximum value.
Like, he might have won his way to this position, so to speak. He might have won his way onto, like, a circuit, so to speak. I don't think it makes him, like, world class.
You out of a really...
You think so?
Like, we don't know what this level is, really. It's TV poker, isn't it? We don't know what the level is. Like, when I was competing at fencing, I was at a world level for under-17s, and I was under-17, so like, I knew what my level was. I knew what British level was. Like, it's the same with boxing or something like that, but I don't know about it with poker.
Mediocre.
I don't know how much money it cost him to be in the tournament.
This is a setup
Pass.
now. Samuel with the limp in, and he is ready for...
Now, I don't know if you buy into this or if they invite you in and they give you chips to play on the telly or what. I don't know what the setup is at all.
Bear.
Call.
Abby doesn't bite.
Party Poker World Open, though, would have been... That's what it says, Party Poker World Open. I might imagine would have been... you go to a big competition like at Coventry or somewhere, you buy in, and then if you win through to the final, then you get invited to this table maybe, which is like a finals table,
But Tim
To
does.
11,000 total. Ace of 9.
Why so big?
I got this for you.
Big.
We lost our
Well, there we go.
Call.
Abby doesn't bite.
So he's thrown his chips in, he's done a bet. Right, let me just get a track on what's going on here. Sammy's got ace-king.
Maximum value out of a really...
You think so?
Mediocre.
Sammy George, right.
Early days.
Call.
Sammy's got ace-king. He's very quick to throw his money in as well and touch his face. I would probably spot that Sammy's excited here, like aroused, and therefore I think he thinks he's got good cards. So this guy's just going to fold, not good cards.
Samuel with the limp
Folding, not good
in, and
cards.
he is
Folding, not
ready
good
for
cards.
bear.
So the money's gone round. Like, people have put their little small blinds in. Alan's still involved. He's still, like, he's seeing these people fold. He's thinking, like, it's him versus, maybe that Sammy guy.
Call.
Abby
He's
doesn't
calling,
bite.
and he's calling as well. He's throwing in some money.
But Tim
To
does.
11,000 total.
Tim's thrown in money, and he's got a 5-3 on suit, and that's a fucking crap hand as well. You might think, oh, it's on suit. There's a chance. It might stay in to see what happens, but like, really, it's not. I don't know what he's doing.
Ace of 9.
Why so big?
He's staring down his opponent over there, and Alan says, "Why so big?" Alan's got a 5-6 off suit, so Alan's got nothing. Like, that goes in the bin. That hand.
Yeah.
I got this for you.
Big.
We lost our
This is not going well for Tim.
And Alan's annoyed because he wanted to just limp in, just sneak in on the pot, see if he could bluff someone off it. But instead, he's being forced to make a decision early about whether he wants to be in the hand. Again, this why so big is like, why have you put such a big bet in? Because now if I want to piss around with my silly cards, I have to actually waste real money. So do not waste your money here, Alan.
This table is
I had a better hand.
interesting, Jesse.
Respect.
Yep, you've got to fold them.
Pass.
So there's another hand that Alan's out.
Like,
Tim's out of position unless he suddenly has his time with him. No, I don't have to.
The Vodafone
Fucking loads of this bollocks.
sale is
at the leaderboard, George, 100.
So on the leaderboard here, Alan is second at the moment. But nothing really has happened other than a few people have lost some money. A couple of people have won. I don't know how this has happened. Maybe we're missing some. Maybe we don't see all the hands. But Alan's second.
130,000. He's the first guy to kind of pop his head out. Seems to me like everybody's got a plan that's working the way they
Queen 10, offsuit, goes in the bin.
expect, except for Flanders right now, who's had it all go corned beef.
Yes, it's not gone exactly according to plan for Tim.
Okay, listen, could you imagine if this is my avenue in and I start being poker on the internet and then I make loads of money playing poker on the internet and I get rich and you follow me because I'm doing it on the internet and it's a big stink in the eye to Alan? Should I open up a poker app and start wasting the tippies on poker? I really shouldn't. I wouldn't want to do it on the internet against a computer or anything like that. No thanks. I'd only do it against real people in real life, I think. But wouldn't it be an irony if I went on to become like, poker champion or some shit and Alan would have to watch that on the telly?
I think actually everything Tim has done here, in hindsight, he would have rather done it different.
Pass.
Didn't like
No
those.
fun. No
Yeah.
fun right now. He's got heart.
Pair of twos.
Tim Price
Again,
didn't try.
like if it's gone around the table and everyone's folded and there's just you and one other person and they haven't called yet, maybe you might go in because it's a pair, but it's a very low pair and you'd have to see the two, and like you might just want to risk some money to try and see the hand, but other than that, there's nothing in that.
So yeah, trying it a set with his deuces.
Everyone else is like Alan's not still in, is he? Alan's folded, so skip this one. The problem for Alan is that whilst he's not playing, other people are, and so other people can amass a bit more of a stack. It seems to be going on between Barrow and Kyton again, so between them, like one of them's going to lose, the other's going to win maybe. So, you know, your opponents can get ahead of you even though you're not losing, if that makes sense.
I don't think it was Jesse. The bet out that
so you start to feel pressured to play a hand, to not just keep folding.
I'm sure not going to let up.
Cool.
Ace 3,
And,
wild.
A real feeling at this table.
But there's a chance with Ace 3 you can start getting into the flush and run maybe, I don't know.
Well, that
maybe
everybody's
not the
making
flush.
their own arrangements.
I don't know the words exactly. Pair of eights, again, you dazzled by the pair.
A limp in
A limp
for
in.
George and Alan with a decision here. Do you raise? Do you call?
Cool.
Limping in means paying the exact amount that you have to pay to just see the hand. It means not raising or, you know, or anything like that.
Pass.
There's a pass.
Alan plays a very trap
This is not Alan Vinicum here. This is an Ace 10 hearts.
game. So
Consider putting
limping
money
with
in
the
for a
eights is
little limp in, yeah.
Cool.
He sees more value in trying to hit a big hand
Yes.
and make a big pot than
then
trying to take
just
the 10
winning
out there.
10,000.
King 2 offsuit.
Yeah.
I was expecting all in. I was going to go call.
Fold that. But interesting, isn't it? If he folds that, there's one of the kings. And if you're holding a king, like Kyton and George have both got an ace, and they're both hoping to see an ace, but they've both got one, so it reduces the chances there could be one. Like these more valuable cards are more likely to be held by the opponent. Is Alan not in this one again?
Four ways, not for the
Oh,
first
dear.
time.
All
Yeah.
hearts.
Oh dear.
So Kyton with the ace 10 now has hit him, and a sweet hand there. All hearts, isn't it? That's one of the poker hands, all the same suit,
Yeah.
Well,
So we've got second.
isn't it? A flush, yeah. All the same suit. So you're looking for a full house, 4 of a kind, a straight flush, or a royal flush to beat it. So that's quite good, isn't it? All the same suit. A straight is when they're all the same numbers in consecutive order, so it's better than a straight. So Kyton's hit the bollocks here.
Second set against the nut flush.
Check.
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 So what he wants to do, he's checked, he's gone quiet on it because he wants to make it seem like he's not hit the bollocks. So other people start getting eggy and putting them, I might have a chance here, and put their money in. If you start betting heavy now, you'll scare them off the pot. So that's what he's trying not to do. But you could also read what he's doing there and say, oh, maybe he's not trying to scare me off the pot. Why is that?
Check.
This is the back and forth now with the mental game as to what's your opponent doing, you know?
little does
Why are they betting and why are they not betting?
well,
But look, Kyton's got a massive chance here to win. Whatever you throw in there, you're throwing it in his pocket.
pretty much.
Alan's not involved in this
I
one
wonder if
again.
there's any way the chips don't go all in.
Honest truth. For that time.
Cool.
You know, and you flop the nut flush and you think, how can I raise? But
And now other players have seen that bit of betting happen and think, fuck this, I'm out. Someone's got something good. Like they can smell that somebody else has got something good, so they're out. You see how quick they are to smell that somebody else has got something good. It's hard to build up that pot. When you get the bollocks, it's hard to build up that pot and keep quiet about it and let them throw the money in, you know? You need an Alan to throw in all his chips.
I let you two
Well,
back
against
out.
Alan Abraham, you know he's going to have something.
The other guy's called Alan as well,
Hopefully
Alan
smaller
Abraham.
flush, but this is the hand that he doesn't want him to have.
See, Alan Abraham's hit the 8, so he's thinking, oh, I got my 8. I've got 2 8s, there's my third one, but that's not as good.
I wonder if Abby might end up being so trapped he doesn't get any money here.
Check.
But he needs the other guy to bet.
Alan has to bet, though, surely.
Alan has to
Even
bet,
though
exactly.
he's scared perhaps of a flush, he has
He's too
to
far
protect
in
his
now.
hand,
Of
right?
course.
15,000.
It's more likely that Abby's just got one heart
So,
in his hand, probably.
What he's doing here is he's just milking him little by little, but does he want to turn up the pressure now and ask him for a bit more? Because now there's enough in the pot that if he scares him off it, that's fine, I'll keep it. Does he want to turn up I would. At this point, I'd ask him to pay a bit more.
A court card or the
That's
ace.
a mistake the first time, Abby.
Ah.
Really.
Raise
even
it.
though Abby doesn't want to lose his customer,
This is the moment to
he has
raise.
to raise here
Yeah.
in order to give a chance of getting all the money in, right? He's got the nuts. He must raise, right?
See?
One more.
I might have a natural aptitude at this because the commentators are saying what I'm saying.
Cool.
He's playing it like he's got a single heart, and I
Right.
don't. I think Alan's a little bit too clever for this.
It just
That
seems
might
to me
scare
that
him off.
Abby's
Yeah.
risking here.
Ooh.
See, that just killed his action.
Yeah, he's risking not getting all the money in.
10,000.
Because now he's
If he
thinking
raises
bollocks.
on the
Yeah.
turn, Abraham's broke.
Look at all those hearts, you know. Look at all those hearts.
One more spin, eh?
It's about sunk cost bias now. Is he going to just chase his money because he's already put a bit in, or is it because now he should just stop doing this because 2 8s are not looking good on there?
Unfortunately for Abby, he just didn't realise, or he doesn't know how big Alan Abraham actually was. Top set,
Plus.
it would
Folded
have
it.
all gone
Good
there.
fold.
Oh, what a fold by Abraham.
See that difference when Alan went all in and when that guy folded. That was the difference. That's why that guy's still playing the cards and Alan's not. You know,
And he has no idea
you can drive Alan off a cliff of his own making.
really how little he lost.
If you can spot the moment that Alan bluffs, like this is Alan's critical flaw against me in poker, is if I spot when he's bluffing, he's off the cliff.
Relative to what was on that board.
Yeah.
For real.
I've put 10 in.
How could you bluff this Tim right now? I mean, he's got smoke coming out of his nostrils. I mean, well, he was seething before the heat began because
Cool.
he was told that Scott Fenton was playing in his heat. Originally, Scott Fenton was slated to play, and so he watched 3 tapes worth of Scott Fenton and took
Cool.
6 pages
Pair of twos, he's called on that.
of notes,
I mean, he's up now with some money, isn't he? So he might as well throw some money around. But
only to find out
No race.
there was a late replacement. Tim has ended up playing like Scott Fenton.
where's all in Vin? 6 and a 4 on suit, and he's just seen all those hearts come up. So Alan now is going to say, look, I need to get in a hand. I'm losing money if I'm not playing. That guy's just won with just some hearts, so I could win with just some clubs. So he's going to go in on this.
Which is
You should fold that.
He's been brainwashed.
Like, bear in mind, all these other people have called already, so they've already said, like, you know, I'm in on a. That guy's on a pair of twos, but he said I'm in, so somebody else might have something. So the fact that they're already in makes you think, on my cards might not be that good. If not that many people are in, and it's like, but here it's more likely someone else out there is a bit more of a shark and has got something a bit better. No one really has. No one really has, but like Alan doesn't know in this situation that actually he's got probably one of the stronger hands out of all these idiots. Maybe slightly less strong than the pair of twos. I don't know. Maybe strong enough.
It's a tough style to imitate.
It's time to stop, isn't it? In a minute. It's been going on way
And
too
it's just
long.
like what we were saying. Third pair, 4 ways, the nuts.
Check.
He wants to check it.
Everyone wants to check it because no one's got anything good,
Not only is third pair
and everyone's scared of the king ace because everyone's bluffing. They're all scared of the king ace. Yeah.
way good right now, but there's only about 4 cards in
This
this.
guy's putting his sunglasses on, which means he's about like that guy's putting his sunglasses on because he doesn't want me to read the bollocks he's about to, you know, body language. Like he's bluffing. It's an interesting one, this, because they're all bluffing. So nothing's come out on the flop for anyone, really. Flanders has got the 7, pair of 7s. But because they're seeing the king ace, they're all scared of that someone else has got that.
Deck that
Yeah.
can beat him. I mean,
Ooh. No reaction from anyone on the table.
Check.
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 You want to raise that. You want to threaten. Like, if you're bluffing and you're going to go through with it, you now want to threaten the rest. Like, why would you not raise, like, and say, look, if you've not got a king, I'm taking this then. If you've got a king, front me up. And if someone does bet, then you think, right, fuck it, now I've got to make a decision as to whether I'm going to bet against this person who really has a hand.
Check.
Because what's the point? The other time before, it was about letting the pot build up, wasn't it? Don't bet too hard because you want the other guy to bet. Here, no one else has bet. So if everyone checks, you're not making any money. So you force them to pay to see the cards. 2 of them fold because they haven't really got good hands. And then it's you versus whoever else thinks he's got the bollocks. And you either are bluffing... either they are bluffing or they're not. And you've decided to go in because you think they are.
Problem he's got in the pot, he's got the 2 most aggressive players at the
11,000.
table behind him. And
And that's what that Kaitan just did. He just represented with a bit of a strong bet to push everyone else off now.
he actually thinks
Cool.
he's set.
Matched. Alan's been pushed
That's
off.
good, and that's a cracking call, isn't it?
well, it is. I mean, and You know, he's just saying to himself, look, if Abbey had any piece of that flop, he would have bet it on the button and tried to get a free card later. I
Absolutely.
mean, I have to say, I think he's right. Well, he is right.
Doesn't really change things that.
The luxury of knowing he's right.
6,000.
And that's a defensive blocker
That's
bet.
that's a stopper bet. Just sting it in there saying, you know what,
You've got to pay.
don't bluff me.
Don't
What
bluff
if
me, yeah.
Abbey reads that and shoves here?
There is a lot to the bluff in this skate. Like, you know, I was saying it was more about the statistics and the cards. Like, this aspect now, when they're both bluffing, it is about that. But I don't know how to quite explain this, but you must be able to feel this, that it gets to this point and it becomes not about the cards. So if it becomes that, then you must be able to read your opponent in the reason and why it's become that.
It's a very weak bet, isn't it? 6 into 40, into 38 actually. Looking at 44,000 pot.
If you've got a lot of money, you can just call that. Yeah.
It's kind of like when you always you make fun of those toreadors for trying to wave that little red.
Sometimes you think they just don't know what the answer is. Well, I wish I knew what my opponent has, so if I pay this money, I'll find out, and it's a gamble. And that's where the real critical gambling element comes in. It becomes less of a game of skill and read and more of a game of I'll pay you to find out, and then let's see what happens when the cards are turned over, sort of thing.
Black in front of the bulls. I mean, it's not.
You missed.
Miss Jesse, what do you have? Queen Jack?
He's fannying about over it.
Oh yeah, the best hand.
Oh, he's done
He's
it.
folded.
It's worked.
Right, there you go. So where's Alan playing poker? Because he doesn't actually haven't been in a hand yet, has he?
Flanders, who you expect is going to step
Until this final one where he goes out. So he basically does nothing and then goes all in and gets out. That's Alan.
Stuff case 7.
5% chance of winning the hand.
Close, but back to Devon
That's
for
not-
Alan.
That's what
I was hoping
Like, rubbish, Alan.
Close, but back to Devon
not-
for Alan.
I was hoping you weren't going to call, obviously.
Yeah, I know, but I had to.
First one out. From second to first one out.
Okay.
On a rash decision.
Just like that.
Just like that. There you go. You've had it now, you chuffers. You naughty chuffers.